welcome to Planetterrian Daily, episode 110. Today is July 4th, 2026. Let's see what the latest research is telling us. Intermittent fasting in an 8-hour window raised median lifespan 12% in male mice. Time-restricted feeding to an 8-hour window produced a 12% gain in median lifespan in male mice. The benefit appears tied to voluntary calorie reduction rather than timing alone. Females showed little or no effect under the same protocol. Follow-up work is testing whether the advantage holds when calories are matched across groups. A few episodes back, the show examined cellular aging interventions. This study adds detail on how metabolic timing influences lifespan outcomes in male mice. Researchers from Oxford's Environmental Change Institute mapped disease patterns across the Brazilian Amazon and found they align with specific combinations of deforestation, agriculture, and rural economies rather than occurring randomly. The study shows distinct regional signatures for different insect vectors tied to how people modify landscapes. These patterns emerge from interactions between environmental change and local economic activities. Follow-up work will test whether targeted land management changes can reduce transmission hotspots. Genomic tools now allow direct influence over species and ecosystems, prompting researchers to examine how indigenous data rights and ecological knowledge should shape their application. The discussion highlights historical human roles in ecosystems and questions who controls genomic data derived from indigenous lands. Current frameworks often overlook these governance issues. Next steps include developing protocols that embed indigenous oversight into project design from the outset. KISS engineers built a compact, plug-and-play device that generates single photons without cryogenic cooling and operates once powered on. The 19-inch rack format removes the need for specialized lab infrastructure. This moves quantum light sources toward practical deployment outside research settings. Further engineering will focus on integrating the source with existing quantum communication hardware. A long missing specimen allowed researchers to reconstruct growth rates and life stages of the extinct shark across its range. The analysis shows how the animal's size and habitat use changed through ontogeny. Museum collections can still yield new data when specimens resurface. Additional fossils will help refine estimates of population structure before extinction. University of Bonn researchers tested 2 animal welfare label posters in a virtual supermarket and found the largest shift toward higher standard products when both posters appeared together. Each poster alone produced smaller but measurable changes in participant choices. The effect was tracked through actual items placed in the virtual cart. Real-world trials are planned to check whether the pattern holds outside the lab. Teams from TU Dresden, Max Planck, and Basel combined observed choices with participants' own written explanations of their reasoning. The method reveals motivations that choice data alone cannot capture. Machine learning analysis of the text identifies recurring patterns across individuals. Future studies will apply the approach to larger and more diverse decision contexts. Scientists modified wheat to form supersized starch granules inside the grain. The change opens possibilities for altered digestibility and new industrial uses of the starch. The work demonstrates precise control over a key storage compound through targeted biological engineering. Yield and processing trials will determine commercial viability. A Science Advances study combined genetics, archaeology, and anthropology to show that political power among Scythian elites passed through extended family lineages spanning multiple burial grounds. The data indicate inherited authority rather than purely local status. This revises earlier views of nomadic social structure. Additional genomes from undersampled regions will test how widespread the pattern was. Now, shifting to a device-level approach that could one day restore function in human tissue. A perfusion system maintains metabolic activity in whole eyes retrieved from deceased donors. The approach supplies oxygen and nutrients directly to retinal tissue. Earlier attempts failed because the eye lost function before surgery could succeed. Human trials will assess whether restored eyes can transmit visual signals after grafting. The system creates a practical window for surgical reconnection by maintaining retinal metabolism. The next milestone is a controlled human pilot measuring signal transmission from grafted tissue. Analysis of 430 samples with deep RNA-seq showed that graph-based methods detect expression quantitative trait loci involving structural variants and multi-allelic indels missed by linear reference approaches. Power improved at 7.9% of genes, with 1.8% showing at least 50% gains in significance. The work also lifted median variance explained in expression prediction models from 10.1% to 12.5%. Larger cohorts will test translation to complex disease traits. Review of 19 populations across 8 genetic datasets revealed that large clones and unclear population boundaries systematically distort knee estimates in ectomycorrhizal fungi. Both linkage disequilibrium and SIB-ship frequency methods proved sensitive to these factors. The findings questioned current use of NE as a genetic indicator for conservation in species with partial clonality. Refined sampling designs are needed before the metric can reliably inform policy. While one technology works to preserve tissue function, the fossil record shows how entire marine communities have responded to past warming by changing size. A multi-university study of the fossil record documents consistent body size reduction in mussels, crustaceans, and fish during intervals of strong global temperature rise. The Lilliput effect appears across hundreds of millions of years and is most pronounced in the warmest phases. The pattern offers a long-term biological signal of climate stress. Modern monitoring programs will check whether contemporary warming is producing similar size shifts. From present-day efforts to counteract tissue loss, we look at a consistent biological pattern that appeared whenever oceans warmed in the deep past. Shenzhen Institute's researchers created Prince and Little Prince systems that activate CRISPR only in the presence of specific drug inducers while remaining silent otherwise. The dual-control design was tested in living tissues to limit off-target activity. This approach addresses safety concerns in therapeutic genome editing. Ongoing work will optimize delivery and test longer-term stability in disease models. From engineered control of editing, we examine how natural sampling behavior is shared across mammals. Northwestern researchers found that mice, like humans, use single deliberate sniffs to probe their surroundings rather than only rapid sampling. Electrophysiological recordings confirm the controlled single sniff behavior. The finding overturns the assumption that rodents rely exclusively on high-frequency sniffing. The shared mechanism suggests conserved neural circuits for active sensing across mammals. Before we go, keep an eye on results from the controlled human pilot that will measure signal transmission from grafted retinas. That's Planetterrian Daily for today. If you enjoyed this, a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify really helps new listeners find the show. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NERA Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the NERA Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen, Models and Agents, your daily briefing on AI models and agents. Find every show free at neranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.